Good evening, HBCU fans from across the country, and welcome to another edition of HBCU Coaches Corner, the show where HBCU football isn't just covered, it's celebrated. If you're passionate about the SWAC, the MEAC, the CIAA, the SIAC, or Black college football in general, you found your home. Every week, we bring informed analysis, exclusive interviews, and conversations you won't find anywhere else. Before we get started, let me do us a huge favor and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications so you won't miss a live episode. Every like, every comment, every subscription helps us grow the platform and expand the coverage of HBCU football as it deserves. And if you really believe in what we're building, consider becoming a channel member. The membership helps us travel to media days, campuses, and stadiums across the country to build to bring you exclusive interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and year-round HBCU coverage. Your support allows us to continue telling stories of our coaches, student-athletes, and programs at the highest level. Tonight, we've got another outstanding show lined up for you. We'll recap everything that happened at the SWAC Media Day, discuss the release of the new Black college football poll, and later, sooner than later, we'll be joined by a respected HBCU journalist, Kyle Mosley, to talk about the current stadium situation at Southern University and what it could mean for the Tigers moving forward. Now, I couldn't ask for a better team to break it all down. Joining me is our featured host. You know who it is. I would get a phone call, wouldn't I? Watch this. We're going to do this live. Guess what I'm doing right now? And you're live, by the way.
Hey, honey, how are you?
All right. So, hey, I had to answer because I know you're traveling, but I'll call you back when I finish.
All right, love you.
Love you too. So my wife's traveling on business, and I had to get that, guys. Whenever she's not here with me, when she calls, I got to answer. So I apologize for that.
Better make sure.
I apologize for that. Now, I couldn't ask for a better team to break it all down. Joining me in our featured is our featured host, SWAC legend, former Texas Southern University head coach, 2010 SWAC Coach of the Year, and one of the most respected voices in HBCU football is Coach Johnnie Cole. Also joining us is one of the most knowledgeable historians in Black college sports, a proud FAMU alumnus and our resident SWAC sports historian, Stephen Campbell. If it happened in HBCU football, chances are Steve knows the story or he was there. Gentlemen, welcome to the show, and let's get started with another great episode of HBCU Coaches Corner. All right, man. What y'all think about that, man? We try to level up and be a little more professional. What did you think about that, Steve?
You know, I was proud of you because you didn't even read that. That came off the top of your head. I didn't know what show we were on.
Okay. All right, man. I hear a little background. Is that you, Coach?
Do you?
Yeah. You got some headphones over there?
It ain't. At least it ain't dishwashing now.
No, it ain't dishwashing this time. But no, hey, Coach. Thank you for joining us, man. I appreciate you. You know, you the SWAC legend. I say people may have been getting tired of that one night in either being in Mississippi, you know, against all odds. One Johnnie Cole threw 6 touchdowns against the great Willie Satellite Totten and Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
Now, hey, everybody, y'all go fact check that. That is a true story. But he's a SWAC legend and our featured host, and I want to thank you for coming on, Coach Cole. But before we get started and get Kyle on here, how you doing, Coach?
Man, I'm doing good, Coach, man. Hey, here we are. We back at it, you know, and had a long break over the summer and, you know, got married to a beautiful woman and, you know, ended up moving in a home and have done some traveling and, you know, some things that I needed to do, you know, to clear my mind and get ready for this great SWAC football. And I want to always, man, thank my right hand and my left hand, you two guys, man, for keeping this thing going and sipping on Sunday and Rocky Miller's show and man, it's just, you know, I'm just blessed, man, 9 times over, man, 10 times over. And, you know, as you know, guys, I will be inducted into my high school's wall, which they call it the Hall of Fame wall. And, you know, that I can't say enough about that, you know, they thought about me after I've graduated in 1981. That's been, 45 years ago, huh? And, you know, it's a pleasure. And I got to go back home on September the 12th for the induction. So I had a lot going on and still do, you know. As you know, I referee and had the opportunity to go up to Las Vegas where they had 72 courts, 72 basketball courts, man. And I'll be going to Chicago this weekend. So, you know, a lot of things been happening, man. Like I said, I've been blessed, and I want to take this time also to thank you guys again for keeping this thing together and keeping it going in the right direction.
Hey, Coach, no, I want to thank you for allowing us to be a part of it, Coach. We still hear that echoing, Coach. And,
They're saying that's you, Rocky.
Yeah,
When you talk.
It's my voice, but it's coming through coaching. Watch this. Only thing I got to do is mute Coach, and it won't come out. It won't go anymore. That's what I'm saying. If you got some headphones or turn your sound down or something like that, Coach. Yeah. But what I wanted to say, man, it's just a privilege, Coach, that it seems like just the other day, Coach, I called you and you told me your history in the SWAC and what all you had done. You really downplayed all you had done, Coach, as a coach and a player, and come to find out that you are a true legend in the SWAC, not only as a player but also as a coach, man. And so it's just been my pleasure, man, to take this ride with you, and I just thank you so much for allowing me to be part of it. But you go ahead, Coach. Hold on. Go ahead, Coach.
Let me toast. I want to toast to the 2026 SWAC football season, the HBCU Coaches Corner. Here's to you guys.
All right, Coach.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Is it Alabama State? Is it Florida A&M? Is it Jackson State?
Hey, well, let's get Kyle on here because he on the clock. So, and we started a little late. Let's get Kyle on here, but with no further ado, I step aside and let Mr. Campbell do the introduction.
You probably want to mute Coach, Rocky.
I did.
Do this real quick.
I did.
Okay, good. Well, listen, guys, I'm super excited because I'm a big fan of an actual reporter, Kyle T. Mosley, Morehouse man, founding manager, editor, chief reporter of HBCU Legends, which is shown or featured on Sports Illustrated. But you know one other thing that you got to know about Kyle? That boy is a McDonald's 35 guy from New Orleans. So we had to bring him up because you know one thing about it, Rocky, one thing we like to do on HBCU Coaches Corner is talk about facts. And you know, everybody's doing their podcasts and talking about Texas Southern. And I called Rocky. I said, Rocky, you know what? We don't have to do that because we know people. So you know what? Without further ado, the man that wrote the article that's got everybody talking HBCU land, Kyle T. Mosley.
All right. There we go. That's the guy. Let me give him some applause right quick.
I'm gonna do it like you do me. Kyle T. Mosley, Sports Illustrated.
Oh man.
That
Look,
ain't
guys, how y'all doing? Coach Johnnie, go.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. Steve Campbell and Rocky Miller in the house. All right, guys. Man, Coach, you're a Hall of Famer. Congratulations. I'm still waiting on my invitation. I didn't get it in the mail for the wedding, man. So Coop and I are trying to figure out what's up. We don't get an invite anymore. You just kicking us to the curb. What's happening, man?
Well, look, while you're on here, I want to also thank you. Kyle helped me with the Hall of Fame ballot as far as some things that he knew about me and put some things together that helped me, I guess, brought on to the top. So I want to take time out for that as well. I've been right down in Houston with a legend and really didn't know back in the day. So he was watching me from afar.
Yeah. Look, man, and Coach, you are a legend, and we appreciate everything that you've been able to do and contribute to HBCU football. Look, Neil deGrasse said this, he was talking about honorary degrees and guys who actually get doctorate degrees, and you get the honorary doctorate degree, right?
Right.
So when you go to get the degree, you go through 5 years and you finally do your dissertation and you defend it and you get the degree, right? That's with the hope that one day you're going to do something great. When you get honored with these Hall of Fames and these doctorate degrees and everything, that's saying to you actually have done something great. And congratulations, because you have done something great and your own people from high school are honoring you. That's beautiful, man.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, Kyle. Let's get to the real reason why you're here today. Other than being an outstanding journalist, right? There was a story you wrote recently about TSU, and those of you who don't know, TSU has had to schedule a game at a high school stadium.
Not just one.
Oh, well, okay. At a high school stadium. Now, if I found it quite peculiar, Mr. Campbell found it quite peculiar, and you found it quite peculiar, and you got curious, and I guess you went looking for answers, Kyle. And does that sound about right?
Well, look, man, yeah, that is correct along the same vein, but I also had, for the past, I would say 4 years, knew some intimate information about that stadium deal that a lot of people weren't aware of, right? And Texas Southern has a lot of power because that stadium in downtown Houston would not have been built if it were not for Texas Southern's participation. So therefore, when the Dynamo and Dash are now the major soccer league that's in that stadium, and Dr. McClellan was the athletic director at that time, and I think Coach Cole, weren't you around there around that time?
Yeah, I was the associate. I was the interim. Yeah, when it first started.
So in essence, Rocky and Steve, as well as the fans, Texas Southern has a lot to say, and they could have had a lot to say with the signages. They could have had a lot to say with how the schedules are set up, because every February, no later than February, they were supposed to convene and meet and sit down with the Dynamo Dash staff and be able to make sure that they had their home game secured. Well, over the past couple of seasons, because Texas Southern has been going through some leadership changes within the athletic department, as well as I don't think the leadership from the president's office was too familiar with some of the intricacies of the contract that when they didn't have a representative to come to the Dynamo and work out the schedule, things got fallen through the cracks, so to speak, right? And what made it worse is that the person who knew Texas Southern very intimately on the sports authority side, leadership changed there as well. So then you have no leadership this year from that's familiar with Texas Southern, and you have Texas Southern unfamiliar with the leadership of the Dash and Dynamo. Then you have this situation where now Texas Southern will play at W.W. Thorne Stadium, which is in Aldine ISD on the north side of Houston. They'll play, I think, 5 games, and 1 game will be played at Reliant Stadium. And that's the Southern University game and the homecoming, Coach.
Wow. Where's the homecoming going to be at?
At Reliant.
Wow. So they got 2 games at Reliant.
Just 1.
Oh, they're going to play Southern for homecoming. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, they switched the date from the 17th to the 24th.
Of October?
Yes.
Okay. Let me give a little history, guys. I got to Texas Southern in 1981, where the current stadium at was actually our practice field, with a dirt track around it and a baseball field as well. And they got together, and we got the same field house. The field house was built in like 1978, and they got then they got together and said that they were going to make us a stadium. When they placed the stadium down there, and not an official stadium, a better place, AstroTurf, they put it the wrong way, and that's why it was hard to play there during the daytime. And they redone the track. So it really stayed as a practice spot for us as well. And when you talk about leadership, that's one of the biggest things about Texas Southern University. They have so much turnover that, as he said, Mr. Mosley said, that a lot of things fall through. Who's taking over? We have so many athletic directors. I know in my career there, from being a coach, starting off in 81, being a coach, and a player to a coach, we had about 5 athletic directors, and then about, of course, we up in the teens and coaching and over those years as well. So that's what's happening. It's like running a race with Texas Southern, a track race, but we never get out of first handoff. We never hand the baton to number 2, then number 2 hand it to 3, and 3 hand it to 4. We never could get there. And we don't have any matriarchs around the athletic program, because for some reason we run everybody away or we. So it's like a playground there at TSU, and unfortunately, that's what happens when you have so much turnover. These things always happen. So we always talked about a state. I remember when I was there, they were talking about when University of Houston started playing down in Astrodome. We were offered to buy Roberts Stadium. I think it was for $1 or something like that, $1 and take it over. But of course, we had to take money and put into it, and then that fell through. And then U of H stopped being the U of H, because they were winning a lot. They moved back over to Robertson Stadium, which is right across the street from Texas Southern. So, then when the one president there, I can't call her name right now, was the woman president, she were talking about building it over there by Jack Yates. Then all of a sudden they built a parking lot over in that area, So we had some opportunities. I think nobody really have grasped into it. We've always had a great basketball program, and we always had great players. It's been some great football players that came out of Texas Southern in all those years, but we never had great teams. you know, and so that's been, I think, a issue and a problem in the consistency of administrative people that's coming and going through there.
Let me ask you this question. I'd like to ask Kyle this question. Reading through your article, and I'm Mr. Campbell. If you want to jump in here as well, you're welcome to share your thoughts. Looking in the article, it seems like there was an effort made to reach out to Texas Southern, right? Did you ever find out?
There was not an effort to reach out to Texas Southern this season.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know that, because I thought I must have misread that they said they had reached out to Texas Southern, and I wanted to know who they reached out to. But
let me say this too. I've been through one of these situations when we were at Tennessee State. It was the same thing when the Oilers left Houston. They came to Nashville, and we went through the same stuff at Tennessee State when we were there. They came in, they took over our practice field, they took over our weight room. We had to move weights underneath the stadium. What happens is when administrators start handling these things and being involved, they never have a coach in there that understands what does the football team need. It was so bad at Tennessee State that when we went to practice on Friday nights, we had to wear gym shoes. We couldn't wear we couldn't wear our spikes. You know, I did get opportunity to design the locker room up there because of my civil engineering background. You know, I was a part of meetings. They would bring me and my brother in there. As you know, my brother was the head coach, and we would go over what we needed. But when we went there and seen what they were giving us, it was just a shell. And we was like, no. We need this. But then to come to find out, we weren't able to practice there as well. Well, we found out that they were going to give us a washer and a dryer. And, you know, our AD and some administrator was happy with that. But that ain't what we needed. You know, we could have got some equipment, whatever. So that was that. Come to the Texas Southern thing. One of the things I know, and like Cal said, I was a part of it. I hated that you was putting orange seats in there. I said, why they can't put gray seats in there, which is our color, in their color? But I think they, after years and years and years, they end up doing that.
Well, can I interject something right there? You know James Douglas, the former president. James Douglas was the one he's the one who negotiated the contract, number one, right? He's the one who put stipulations on the county as well as the Dynamo. And James Douglas wanted Dr. McClellan to be able to handle some of the construction meetings, right? And from my conversation with James Douglas is that Dr. McClellan, I think he missed a couple of meetings. And part of those meetings, and I think Dr. McClellan was satisfied with just having his focus was making sure we had the football field taken care of, the locker rooms taken care of, and designed for Texas Southern.
In the sweet box.
Right. And I think from James Douglas's communication with me, he was kind of he had hoped that Texas Southern had more of a representation inside of the stadium. Like you said, the colors of the seats should now have been orange. There should have been some signage of Texas Southern a part of this deal. And I think some of that kind of fell through the cracks as well when those meetings in the construction phase were not attended.
Yeah. Dr. Rutledge was the president at the time. And James Douglas is he's a law professor.
And he's the dean
part
of
law school.
Thurgood Marshall, right?
Yeah, Thurgood Marshall a couple of times, as well as he was the president. So he knew the law part of it. Like, if you're gonna build this within, with our state funding that we get from the state, then this is what should be. It should be ours as much as. But of course, I didn't get a chance to coach in it. But that's where we fell off at. We've had no representation from the start. No solid, interested reputation, because I was still there as a coach as they were building it. I mean, and we were turning the program around, and not one time was I even notified or coach, what do we need in here? None of that. All this stuff was done from the administrative part, and that's what happens, and it happens all over HBCUs, all over HBCUs. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a stadium that's already on campus.
Correct.
Hey, Kyle, let's get into the article and my background. I do a lot of contracts. Were you able to review the actual contract and see the contract?
Yes.
So all right, because this is what people want to know, right? So one of the things, and President Douglas, former lawyer, reading your article and things like that, one thing I know about lawyers, they're going to make sure everything is going to be weighted to their side, right? So one of the things I want to know, in the particular contract, were there dates where it said, and contact people, hey, we need to meet on this? Okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
good.
Were there dates in the contract that said, this group of people need to meet with Texas Southern on this day, and this happens every year, and then go in from there? So to basically define those days that would be actually the days for the games, right? They would come in.
Yeah, they had to be by
contract, because that was the one thing when I was reading your article, I was curious about, because most contracts like that, right, that are where you're going to use it of a facility, right? They're going to talk about the specific days. They're going to talk about who needs to meet. They're going to talk about when it's done. Let's talk about that exactly and how that linkage got broken.
Yeah, they were supposed to meet in every February, right? And I think it was the second week in February they were supposed to be meeting to convene with the Dynamo and Dash to be able to work on the schedule. That was the language inside of the contract.
Now, who was that supposed? Okay, in that contract, who was supposed? Because one thing I was confused about. So you've got three entities. I guess you got Harris County. I guess they have a entity, sports authority or whatever. You got Texas Southern, and then you got the Dynamo. Who was the person that was supposed to initiate that meeting? Was it Harris County that says, "Hey, we're going to meet here at Harris County," or they got to come to Texas Southern? Was that ever spelled out in the contract?
No, it wasn't.
Okay. So
it was never spelled out who should contact whom.
Okay. So basically somebody said, well, I didn't know you were supposed to contact me, and then it went vice versa. And then I'm assuming because the letter of the law, the contract, that's when the defaults start happening, right? Because there was no meeting, then the defaults of them losing dates start happening, right?
Just as of the changes that occurred in the Texas Southern athletic department. And the changes, guys, I'm talking about, Dr. Granger was removed as the athletic director, correct? Because of the legal situation he was
and that was April of 24, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. So therefore, we're looking at season 2025 was affected in 2026. Now, you still have people inside of the athletic department that knew certain dates had to be secured, or if they needed to be able to approach those people. I just think from what was communicated to me, the administration decided they were going to take over those type of deals when it comes to let's plan the dates, let's plan the venues, yada, yada, yada.
So you use a real general term about that. You used administration.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about administration, are you talking about above the athletic department?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And the administration is now driving the search for the basketball coach, the search for the baseball coach, all of this had to be approved in the Board of Regents just recently because they had to pay for the Southern game up front, right, with Reliance Stadium. So, and not Reliance Stadium, but they had to go through the Lone Star Group, which is Cal McNair, the owner of the Texans. That's his organization. So they had to negotiate directly with him to be able to secure that date, the facility, as well as the people that are going to be a part of the event, as you know, security and everything else.
Do you know how much it cost them?
$500,000.
Wow.
To have the homecoming game
Versus
$500,000
versus a free stadium.
Versus a free stadium. But also you got to consider this: the $500,000. Actually, if you look at the contract or the agenda, they anticipate they're going to exceed that $500,000 with ticket sales and concessions and things of that nature.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Now you thought, okay, when you say exceeded, as you talk about as expense or in revenue?
Revenue.
Okay, so they're saying we're going to pay $500,000.
We're going to get
it's going to pay for itself because we're going to exceed our revenue. But let me ask this question, because this is the contract question. I understand that part, but if you start at zero, everything is pure profit if you're playing in the stadium. So I don't understand the justification of saying I'm going to put a capital outlay of $500,000 out when I have a stadium at zero and everything I make. Now let me ask you this question, Coach. You can count. What is the seating capacity of the stadium?
You talking about of Shell Energy?
No, of the stadium where they're supposed to play at, where the soccer team and Texas Southern they share.
Yeah, that's Shell Energy, 22,000.
Okay, 22,000. So let me ask you a question, Coach. Would they have exceeded at homecoming? They usually get about that, right? Or a little bit less, probably, right? So I guess my question is, there's really no benefit to play at a bigger stadium because you're not going to get additional people.
Well, I think they're doing something a little bit different this time, Steve. I think they're going to be marketing this particular event pretty heavily because of the fact of Marshall Faulk being the head coach of Southern University, coming in, playing the homecoming game at Reliance Stadium, where you have two NFL guys, Chris Dishman, Marshall Faulk, clashing. And they're hoping at that particular time, Texas Southern is going to be have if not a winning record or even record, to be able to have the interest bearing for a lot of people coming in for the game. Now, a lot of alumni, to my understanding, and Coach, you understand this part, alumni usually like to put their RVs out near the old stadium on campus and have cookouts and things of that nature. So the tailgating there on the old stadium may come over to Reliance Stadium. Okay, because there are certain areas around Reliance Stadium where you can tailgate.
Yeah, but that's a healthier cost than it would be on campus.
Well, the other thing is,
yes, it is.
Normally
for alumni. And
yes,
I don't know if our alumni that's strong enough to, because we get a lot of visitors from off campus. You can't regulate the people.
Also, with those stadiums, they usually don't rev share parking.
Right.
So
I do not know anything about if they're going to be rev share, anything to that nature.
So here's what I'm looking at, Kyle. And correct me if my assumption is wrong. What is the average? I'm just using the average ticket price of $50. Would that be fair?
I don't think the tickets are going to be that much. It might be somewhere $25 to $35 range.
So let's go with 25 times 22,000. All right, that's what they got in their old stadium, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's $550,000. That's cash money right there, right?
Right. That's what they're anticipating.
Okay.
That on the
But
ticket sales, they could be able to win.
Here's my problem. If they were playing at the old stadium, that would be 550,000 in profit, right?
Not entirely, because you still have you have to pay partial money to the tickets, whoever allots the tickets through that venue over there at Shell Energy Stadium.
Would that be $100,000 or more?
No, it won't be that much. No.
So let's go with 450,000 would be the profit, correct?
Okay.
For that day. Here's what I'm asking, Kyle. How are they going to deal with that $450,000 deficit? Not this year, but next year when they rebudget for the 2027 season.
That's a good question, and that's all my pay grade. Guys, I don't know. Because they may not even play that game over at Reliant next year.
But my question is, even if they play it at their regular stadium next year, they still didn't make the 450,000 that they would have had they played it at Shell Energy. And that has to have some effect on the bottom line for the athletic department, if nothing else, the general fund of the school.
They also banking on that Southern University travels. That's one of the things. Because if you just go by our attendance at our stadiums, is it over 5,000, Cal, that we were averaging last year?
Remember, homecoming is at Durley,
right?
And it's been at Durley. So I haven't been to a Texas Southern homecoming the past 3 years, but because it's on campus, it's a nightmare, and it's so congested around that area, right?
Right.
I wanted to say to Lionel that homecoming is always a home game. So that's what I was talking about, was home.
But it's not at Shell Energy. It's at Durley Stadium on campus.
Oh.
That's the difference. And then everything is pure profit for Texas Southern right there.
Yeah. What does it seat?
Hey, Rocky, let me address
you're
something.
Not really sitting down for that game. It's more
congregating. What is it, 10,000?
No, it doesn't sit.
Hey, real quick, wait, Kyle, real quick. Let me address this real quick. Co-pilot, I did a deep dive on this. Hold on, Rocky, leave that back up for a second. Leave that up there for a second. Hold on, leave that up. Don't change that. I actually did this on Sipping on Sundays and broke down the whole thing why that was a bad contract. And if you go back 2 weeks ago, so don't act like we duck any smoke. We haven't had HBCU Coaches Corner. So I broke the whole thing down. So one thing about me, my brother, I'm going to talk about FAMU like I'm going to talk about anybody else. So just to correct it, there was a deep dive. And I'm the only one that actually knows all sides of the contract because I've seen the contract, unlike these other people that are just talking about it. So I just want to address that. Sorry about that, Kyle. Sometimes you got to correct folks because they get a little bit crazy around here.
Gotta let them know.
Well, Kyle, you told us you had a hard out at 9, man.
No, if you guys got a couple more questions, okay, I'm willing to listen, and
cool.
We can talk about it.
Sure. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. So when during this interview, how much contact with this piece? How much contact did you have or cooperation did you have with the Texas Southern administration?
There's no cooperation with Texas Southern administration. I did approach the media representative, and I had to get the piece out. There was no communication back to say they will grant the interview with me or anything to that nature. I did request it.
Okay. My other question was, was there any in interviewing the personnel from the Harris County Sports Authority, had there been any recent contact with Texas Southern?
Has Harris County contacted Texas Southern?
Or they had any communications whatsoever that you're aware of?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not aware.
Let me ask you this, Kyle. You being there in Houston, what is the pecking order now? You know, we've lost several presidents in the last couple of years, and then now we bring another guy in. And it seems like everything is coming from the board. Like the board is, nobody can make a decision unless it goes through the board, when really the board used to just govern the president. Then the president governs the university. It seems like the board is governing, shoot, if you go get a procurement card and get some gas.
Yeah, I mean, all of the expenses have to be approved one way, shape, or form, especially the major expensive have to be approved by the Board of Regents. And Admiral Crawford sits on that Board of Regents.
Ain't that the president?
Mm-hmm.
He's a part of the Board of Regents?
Yeah, he's a part of those meetings.
Oh, yeah,
He's in those meetings.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, hell, the meeting's supposed to be on him. On what decisions is he making? Or that he has. Gotcha.
Well, I think that's the disconnect that Kyle talked about earlier, because Kyle, here's a couple of things. So every school has a general counsel.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things, and again, not throwing the general counsel on the bus, there are certain things that the general counsel, because that's their job, to make sure that the university doesn't violate contracts. That's really their biggest part of the job, to review the contract and make sure that it doesn't cost the university any money because of the contract. My biggest problem is a couple of things. Two, this should have been a three-headed monster. Athletic director, somebody that is a representative, the provost, because the president shouldn't even be involved in this, to be honest with you. This is not at a presidential thing. This should be the athletic director, provost, general counsel. Those three people should always know when this meeting is. If there's any changes or anything, the athletic director brings it back to the general counsel to make sure that we're in compliance. So my thing is, what I'm curious about, and again, it just goes back to your point about transition, because one of the things the general counsel is say, hey, did you guys make that meeting that we have to have every year with Shell and the Dynamos? Because that's in the contract, just to let you guys know. Because here's what's happening. Now, if I'm the comptroller or the CFO, I'm going to athletics and saying, you just cost us X amount of dollars because you're missing these dates. So that's another flag that should have went to the level. Because now when you're doing your university budget and athletic budget, that's kicking against your athletic budget. And if you got to go back to the general fund and say, hey, to cover this shortfall,
right,
that should automatically alert. So that's the thing.
The crazy part about it is you should have a 2-game schedule out in front. Who you gonna play? Where you gonna play them at? And
you mean a 2-year schedule? You mean a 2-year schedule?
A 2-year schedule.
Well, but here's the thing: they have to wait. But here's the problem. So the theory is the problem. They have to wait until the SWAC. The SWAC gives them the games. So I'm pretty sure they also have to schedule around it. So they wouldn't know 2 years what date they're going to play X SWAC game. Right?
No, the SWAC. No, the SWAC is in 2. They in advance 2 years. They should be in advance.
They just don't release them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So I'll just say this: the SWAC ain't been doing that. I will say that just because I know about FAMU. But let's go with your point. Even with that point, then they already know when the games are, one way or another, before they have this meeting. Based on that's why I'm pretty sure the president set that date, because the SWAC would have already given them the dates of their home games automatically. The only other thing that would have been added if Texas Southern's AD would have added, like they did with North Carolina Central, right? A home and home. So Central is coming to Texas Southern. So that's another game that would have been a variance that they would have had to let the stadium know. So my thing is, again, Kyle, what I like about what you did is you pointed out systematic failure, not just a thing, but there were several levers that should have just automatically triggered finance, legal, athletic.
Yeah.
And then to Coach Cole's point, the coach is like, well, when are we playing it? And to me, if I'm Chris Dishman and coach, let's get you in on this. How would you feel if I got to move your team all the way around and it's your home game?
Here's the deal, and that's the issue. And a lot of, again, I'm not HBCU bashing. It's just like when my football season was over, that spring, we working on hotels, we working on travel because of we know who the schedule is. We doing that in the spring. You don't wait till the summer or wait till the end of the spring. All that stuff's supposed to be done. And when you order, and then as soon as the football season is over, you start ordering equipment so you can get a discount from the equipment people in January. You don't wait.
Well, Coach, okay, look, that's a utopia. That's that's the what we wish. And I think right now, Dr. Jackson, who's the interim AD, had her hands full, right? And it's not anything against her. I don't think she dropped the ball. I think it was certain people tying up the process. That's what really caused a lot of these issues.
When was she appointed the interim, Kyle?
Was it 2025, right? Sometime right after the situation with Dr. Granger came out.
So she was appointed immediately.
It was a month or two afterward,
Okay.
something to that nature. I have to go back through my articles to figure out the date. But
So April 25, I think, is when his situation happened. So she would have been May or
she
June.
was
25.
May, June, something like that, because I interviewed her that summer. I recall that. Okay, so I just think right now, man, you have a institution that had a lot of dysfunction going on, and they're trying to figure the pieces out. And I think the Dynamo Dash didn't help out when they just commandeered dates without speaking to Texas Southern, right? And you can say, well, why didn't the Dynamo call these guys? They probably were thinking, why should we? If you type in Shell Energy Stadium, you go to their website, you see Dynamo and Dash schedule, not Texas Southern schedule. And it should be all three, because all three were part of the initial deal that lasts for what? Supposed to be 30 years or 32 years, Coach?
30
Something
years
to that
in
nature,
your order,
right?
Yeah, 30, yeah.
So that's the problem, and it's been something I think they realize, and I don't think you're going to have the same type of situation this next year in 2027.
Now, let me ask you this, Kyle. Is there a reason why the Board of Regents is so involved in operations of the school?
Yeah, they have some political interests that is a part of that. And these guys, if you go to the Board of Regents page, they were appointed by the governor of Texas.
Heard this story before.
We only have 2 regions that have Texas Southern alum background. Now, if you go to Texas A&M's Board of Regents page, out of the 8 or 9 people on their board, I think just 1 individual does not have a Texas A&M background. You understand?
100%.
But they're still appointed by the governor, correct?
Appointed by the governor. And some people say, well, the governor is not very interested in what happens with Texas Southern. I say I beg to differ, because there's a lot of interest around that 3rd Ward area, especially when it comes to voting, midterms, elections, and all this other stuff that's coming up as well. But when it comes to controlling what happens at Texas Southern, they are very, very intimately involved with the big high-level decisions.
You know, this goes back to a situation that happened in 2024 where they put themselves in a pretty bad position related to coaching. And correct me if I'm wrong, because
No.
I may be stepping on it,
Mhm.
because this was told to me by the godfather of TSU himself, Johnnie Cole. And he was saying that the reason why they can't make a hire is because this hire is being directed by the board, according to Coach Cole.
Okay, so guys, and I reported on this as well, Rocky, and the board. Well, Dr. Granger put before the board, because with his search committee, they identified the candidate. The candidate that was the primary candidate was Fred McNair. Okay. The Board of Regents, there were a couple of individuals on that board at that time, said they wanted somebody with NFL experience, and told Dr. Granger, go back, let's find somebody to that nature. And Andre Johnson was a name that was put forward, and Chris Dishman found his way into the mix through a broadcaster that helped with this situation. Got the interview, put before the board, approved, and he was hired. So yes, the board makes the decision. Final decision.
Is that consistent with how you was hired, Coach Cole?
No. No, not at all. I was called by the athletic director. I was at Lane College.
Who's the athletic director at that time?
It was from the guy from U of H, University of Houston. You know what I'm talking about? He hired Steve Wilson, played football for the Broncos.
Yeah. So then they made a change, and Dr. McClellan came in, was it a year or two afterward?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know I was hiring Doc. I was put in the interim associate AD position to hire AD. Hire my boss, basically. That's how that kind of worked. Everything, I mean, every school I've been to, which is about 10 and about 6, 7 HBCU schools, you know, the president usually runs the campus directly, and the Board of Regents monitor his actions, you know. But now we're in a situation that we're in a bad situation. You know, we got folks running Texas Southern that don't know the history of the school, don't know anything about it. And this is one of Texas Southern's downfall, is we always going from the outside, and getting folks coming in saying, you know, we're going to show you how it's done. And we keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper into these situations. It's nothing.
And if you guys, and Coach, I'm sorry, because I'm gonna have to jump off in a sec. Yeah. I have to agree with you, because former President Douglas, when I did my interview with him, he told me the leadership at Texas Southern refuses to meet with him.
Yeah.
Why would you refuse to meet with somebody who could be able to shed light on the situation and help you through some of these difficulties and help you navigate through them successfully, right? So I just think right now, I can't tell you why or the mindset. I've asked for, as of last week, I asked for an interview with the leadership at Texas Southern. Haven't heard word yet on if that's going to be granted or not. Okay. Well, guys, I got to go. But I tell you, man, it's a very interesting situation. But I think Texas Southern as a whole, I don't think this is going to be duplicated, these issues that they're having with this scheduling. Okay.
Hey, Kyle, before you go, please let everybody know where they can find you and follow you and continue to consume your content and your articles.
Well, guys, HBCU sports is here. HBCU football is here. I'm excited. And Coach Johnnie Cole, he's going to be bringing his analysis every week with you, Rocky and Steve. So it's going to be great. Guys, go to HBC Legends on SI. That's on Sports Illustrated. You can be able to find my content and articles there. Go to si.com/college/HBCU. And you can check me out at HBCU Legends on all social media platforms and myself on X at Kyle T. Mosley. Okay.
Thank you so much, Kyle. We appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
Us. And you're always welcome here, man.
Thank you. We're fam now. You can't get rid of me.
Hey.
What Vernon Mac said. You can't
me
get
on
rid
your
of me
schedule.
now.
Hey, can I get on your schedule? I know you're going big time. Can I get on your schedule?
Coach, you always have a place. You know that, man. So don't even try it. I just not on your schedule because I didn't get the invitation to the wedding. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm trying to figure that out. Now, since I'm gonna get something special for your wife, but you just gonna get a chicken dinner somewhere. All right.
Well, you gonna see me a lot this year because I'm Coach Dishman gave me a call, man.
Good.
And I'm gonna give him a shout out because he's the first coach since I left there to actually give me a call. And I was glad. Always wondered why. I mean, I was the only one to do it there, and I don't know why. Not to at least call and pick my brain and me being an alumnus from there, but he gave me a call and we had a good talk and we're gonna be mending our relationship.
Good. And I'm gonna say this last thing, guys. Prairie View, Texas Southern. I think that Labor Day class is going to be a great one, even though it's going to be early Sunday morning, right before Labor Day. But it's going to be a great one. Texas Southern has some talent, guys. We just don't know how it's all going to put together. I don't know if it's going to come early in the season or later in the season, but they have a favorable schedule now that they got all this stadium issue locked up. Think about it. 5 of the last 6 games of the season are home games for Texas Southern.
5?
I think, 5 of the
So they're going to be
6.
on the road early. They got North Carolina Central in town, Prairie View basically in town, and then everything else on the road until they start their home game.
Yeah, they go UTEP, Alcorn State on the road, Florida Atlantic on the road. Then they have Mississippi Valley at home, Southern at home, Grambling State at home, Andrew Body and Alabama State come in at home. Then they go out on the road, Alabama A&M, then Pine Bluff to be the season finale at home. So it's a favorable schedule. So
if they can survive all those
Texas
money
Southern
games,
that's right.
No Jackson State. No Jackson State.
No Jackson State this year.
Florida A&M.
No FAMU this year.
Woo! Hey,
So
Bethune-Cookman.
No Bethune.
They don't play Bethune either.
No.
That's
They play
unlikely.
Alcorn and Mississippi Valley out of the East, right? Yeah. And Alabama State and Alabama A&M out of the East.
Wow, they don't play the big. Oh man, they only play.
That's what I'm saying. It's a favorable schedule. Don't be surprised if they make some noise. That's
the only winning team on there is Alabama State.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
All right, guys. Got to go. Y'all have a good one. Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the invitation. Take care. Bye.
Rocky, let me do something right now.
Okay.
Coach, you gotta let me rock for a few because this right here, First of all, let me just say, HBCU Coaches Corner, Rocky Miller Channel, Mr. Campbell, Rocky, Coach Johnnie Cole in the building. But, Coach, let me tell you something what happens. And I got to share my screen because people know I got to do this. Because, you know, when I heard Kyle say about the people, Coach, what you said, people that don't know about Texas Southern, don't understand Texas Southern. People said, and people have to understand these boards. So let me just show y'all the board of trustees at Texas Southern. And this ain't no hateration. This is just all facts. Look at, so let me make that a little bit. All right. So can you guys see that?
No, you let me
You got the schedule up.
hold on, let me remove that and then add this. All right.
Yeah, let's talk about this for a second. This is the board of trustees, okay? So first of all, they've got 8 board of trustees, 9. And this right here, Joseph Crawford, is a student. So let's not even talk about him, okay? So you're going to tell me out of your 8 board of trustees, only 3 of them are black? Well, 4 are black. Now let's go back and look and see who these people are. And let's see if they got any ties to Texas Southern. So here's James. James went to Texas A&M. He didn't go to Texas Southern. Here's Lauren. He looks special. He went to the
West Point.
West Point and got his degree from, looks like he went to Harvard or something like that. He didn't go to Texas Southern. Here's Richard Johnson. Now I think Richard might pull one in. Let's see here. Richard actually went to Texas Southern and went to Wiley College. Okay.
What year you go to Texas Southern? Does it show?
It does not say.
Okay.
It does not say. But if I had to say he's been an educator 20 years, I would assume Richard is somewhere a little bit older than me, just the way he looks. Okay. And his term, and he just started his term 2 years ago. So he's a Texas Southern guy. We've got Miss Rose. Man,
that lady been on the board, coach guys, for like over 20 years, man.
Okay, she a Texas because it's amazing. I don't think, did she go to Texas Southern?
Man, coach, she's from the Bahamas, and her big thing is to bring a lot of students over from there.
Okay,
I
would be pretty sure if she went to Texas Southern, it would probably be listed there. Don't you think, Coach?
Yeah, I think she did, though. I think she might have did.
Carolyn Baker Hurley. I bet you she ain't from the ward. Looks like
now she went to school with Coach Cole. She was a cheerleader.
She went to Princeton and went to University of Texas. Let's keep it going. This lady here, can't pronounce her name. Guess what? She went to Harvard. Man, how about this? She went to Harvard. Let's keep it going. Old Ben here. Where'd old Ben go to school? Ben went to university. He went to UT. And got his master's from getting his master's from Rice. How about that? Congratulations. And then let's see what Miss Sullivan here. And Miss Sullivan, how about this? Another Harvard alum. How about that? So, Coach, explain to me why we got more Harvard grads on y'all board.
I can explain, Steve.
Now you know
that is me joking. But see, this is my problem with this. And this is where voting matters. Because at least at FAMU, the people that are on our board, they at least faking with someone went to FAMU.
It sounds like these people on our board is, this poor little black school. Let's come in and let's try to help them out in running the school. That's what it seems to me. All these Harvard graduates, because they always doing all these specials on African American and all these tests and seeing how we operate and seeing how we've been discriminated against. That's what I see there.
And Elvin said all these smart people, they can't go to meet. No, Elvin, listen. See, there's a difference between smart and caring. You're asking the wrong question. The question, do these people actually care about Texas Southern? I don't care about you being smart. Because I'm going to tell you something. Shout out to Daryl Parks. You know Daryl Parks, who was Ben Crump's former law partner. He said, Campbell, let me tell you something about the world. You can get a whole bunch of smart people, but you know the best people are loyal people. Because I can train loyal people to be smart, but I can't train smart people to be loyal. And this is the problem right here, is that you have people that have no skin in the game for Texas Southern, and they're all appointed by the governor, a Republican governor, well, we know who he is. And this is why Texas Southern, the great university that it should be, is why they're in this situation. Because, Coach, to your point, because let me tell you what this board will do, right? They're going to see this article about Kyle, right? And they're going to get all these emails. And they're going to do their meeting. And you know what? I swear to God, if it's public, I'm going to straight stream it. And they're going to browbeat all these people, talk about what happened. But the question is, if you really cared, you wouldn't be talking about what happened. You would make sure it happens. You would make sure, because that's part of the board, is being a good steward of the university. But when you got 4 people from Harvard that I guarantee you don't care about Texas Southern and care more about Harvard, that's a big problem for me. That's a big problem. Let me share this one more time. Because this is a bigger problem for me, is that a board at an HBCU that's probably got half people that are Caucasian. That is ridiculous. You can't find no black. Hey, John Branch is a black Republican. Put him on the board.
So they got five white Caucasian.
Well, I don't know. This one, I believe this woman is of color, I think.
Well, I'm saying you got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Four white people, 4 alleged. Well, I don't know what she is. And then the student representative right here. This is ridiculous. And then again, out of the black people, only my man Richard went to TSU.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: out of these 8 people, there is 1 person that has connection to TSU. Out of the 8,
Wow.
Make that make sense to me.
Man, guys, when I went to Texas Southern back in 1981, we were the largest HBCU school through my whole school time. We were up almost at 10,000 students back in the early 80s. You can't even get that now. We were the largest home-based school in HBCU.
That's the thing, Coach, to that point. All right, and you're going to tell me, and like I said, I've seen this at Florida A&M, and ain't no secret. That board was supported by people that are DeSantis people, and they went to FAMU and the dysfunction that we have on our board. So you're going to tell me that people that didn't even go to Texas Southern are really going to have the heartfelt love for that school? Because here's the thing, and Rocky, we tease you, right? But the one thing I understand, Rocky, about you now, you know what we're talking about because your daughter went to Prairie View.
Oh, yeah.
I hear the pride. You understand why we're so, as people want to say, so emotional, because this means something to us. This means something to Coach Cole. So when FAMU hurts, Jack State hurts, Grambling, Texas Southern, I hurt. Because I know to Coach's Cole what they produce.
We
but
better
you're not going to tell me
that.
this guy right here, you're not going to tell me James hurts for Texas Southern. I don't care what he says. He can call me. We can have the conversation.
So, but let me just see what let me just tell you what it tells, because I'm an outsider as to the schools. What it sounds like to me, they put the regents get involved in operations in large part so that the people who should be responsible for the operation of the school don't do something that's not in the best interest of the community. Meaning that the only reason, in my opinion, that you would have the regents making these kind of decisions is so they don't make too good a decision or they don't do things at a high level, because these men and women that are presidents and vice presidents and ADs, they're getting paid quite handsomely to do a job that ultimately it sounds like the regents are stonewalling or prohibiting them from doing.
Can I say something though? To me, and Campbell probably feel the same way. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Why though, Coach?
It's embarrassing that you can't find some HBCU graduates.
No, Coach. No. Say it right, Coach. Texas Southern graduates that has a law school, that has all these professional schools, all these professional superstar alums from Texas Southern. See, let's not even go that far, Coach.
Yeah. Texas
Southern alums that are superstars in business, in entertainment, in sport. Yeah. Why? Okay, I give you one better. And maybe because he says he's too busy. Did you ever call Michael Strahan and ask him to be on the board?
Yeah.
I think he'd be a good guy to be on the board.
Or to recommend somebody.
Thank you.
But didn't Kyle say Dr. Douglas has offered to be a resource to the board and they've declined?
Yes. Yes.
That's the point. Of course they decline, Rocky. Do you think this guy? Oh, let me ask you a question. This guy right here. Do you think this guy? Look, this guy is going to call anybody? And he would. And listen, you guys are from Texas. I know a bunch of people. What is Texas A&M known for in the state of Texas?
Shit, 12th man.
And their relationship with the African American community.
Not much of a relationship.
Thank you. So do you think this guy, and let me make this big so people can see it, that guy that went to Texas A&M is going to let any black person talk to him?
You know the thing that bothers me more than anything is that not only does he not have a relationship with TSU, which, is that he is extremely young. He's a recent graduate of college. Didn't it say it just graduated in 2015?
He graduated. No, it's got to be before that. He lives in College Station. Oh, he graduated in 2001.
Okay.
So he's still, 2001. So when I make it 22, so he's probably about 45 now. Yes.
Yeah.
About
But I
45.
mean, I thought I read some type of graduation around 2000.
No, he's getting other things and stuff. Yeah.
His claim to fame is that he was the mayor pro tem of College Station. So, I mean, that's a political appointment.
But, they're all to Coach's point, they're all political point, every one of them. And this is again, I don't know where Greg Abbott went to school. Where did Greg Abbott? Let me just where did Greg Abbott go to school?
And see, I'm like you, Kim. Why would you turn the direction of the school over to this group? This group don't know nothing about Texas Southern University. They can't even read enough to know.
Coach. I would, I could see if they at least played the game and they all are Texas born and bred, went to Texas, and you know how they tell. Well, you know what? I grew up in Houston. I used to love seeing Texas Southern band. I would tell me that lie.
Yeah,
tell me that lie.
I don't know how and why would you turn that over? Besides that, maybe again, since I've entered there, they always talked about taking Texas Southern and making it Texas Southern A&M. Maybe this the move. Maybe this is the big move. I don't know.
That I'm sorry. Your boards.
Y'all gonna have to change colors then.
Oh man, boy.
Yeah, I just think so. And again, what I think is this is just another obstacle that's put in place that an HBCU has to navigate while performing their mission, right? We can't even criticize the people who are appointed as president or associate director, dean, AD, assistant AD. Can we even blame those people when it seems like this is willful obstruction?
Wait a minute. You know what? Hold on. I don't mean to cut you off, Rocky, but let me just run something back. Because, Coach, did you say that? No, Rocky, wait a minute. Who said, because this is the same board that said they wanted the NFL guy, right? This board.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to put that in context for a second, okay? See, this is why I wanted to show that, because that actually would trigger this. So think about this. Coach Cole's a perfect example. This board does not care. So they don't care about the history of Texas Southern. They don't know anything about HBCU football. They don't know anything about the history of the SWAC. And for all they know is that, you know what? And mind you, Kyle McNair, because that's one of my boy from University of Miami, even got a shot at getting a coach because they don't care. It'll look really good if we got a pro. Let's do, because you know what they thought? And this is what I'm saying, how lame this is.
A Texan.
No. But hold on. Yeah, a Texan. But let me tell you, let's go back. Well, Jackson State got Dion. A pro guy got to be good, right, Coach?
Right.
Yeah. So
right.
That's
Andre Johnson.
Andre Johnson. That's the level.
He almost got the job.
Exactly. If
he would have had a degree, he might have would have got the job.
Would have the level of disrespect that they don't even care and just say, you know what, let's just get a guy. And like I said, this ain't got nothing to do against Coach Dishman, because I think Coach Dishman is doing a fine job. But I'm talking about the initial mentality of not caring about all the things. Because let's use FAMU. Let's use Jackson State. Let's use anybody. Let's use Eddie Robinson. There's a reason why T.C. Taylor got hired. Because you know why? He knows Jackson State. There's a reason why Eddie Robinson got hired. He knows Alabama State. There's a reason why you look at James Colsey and what that looked like compared to guarantee what's going to look like with Quinn Gray. Because you know why? As Coach said, they know where the bathroom's at. Quinn Gray cares about FAMU. Eddie Robinson cares about Alabama State. T.C. Taylor cares about Jackson State. And that's why you see that level of success.
Can we say that this is also the same board who hired Chris Dishman when they had an opportunity to hire Tremaine Jackson?
Of course.
The board wasn't involved at that time. It was just Kevin Granger and his crew. The board they didn't get involved at that time. They came in late. That's why it took so long.
But wait a minute, Coach. They said they want an NFL guy. So they put that out. So why they might not. But if you said, hey, I want an NFL guy, and you put it out there, even though they didn't have the direction to hire, they put it in the water to say which direction to go.
Here's the crazy part about the reason why they weren't involved. We had an NFL guy, a TSU graduate. He played 13 years in the league named Brett Maxey. He was one of the guys they interviewed. He played for the Saints, he played for the Falcons, and then he coached 15 years, I think, as an assistant coach in the NFL. And he was a TSU guy. So if they wanted a pro guy, and the guy actually was my roommate, they didn't give him the job.
What coach? No. They
wanted a Texan coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, they wanted. Now I don't know if Campbell may be on to something. What you think this could have been McNair, the McNair family flexing their muscle and saying they want a former beloved Houston Texan as a head coach?
Street committee behind the scenes.
But this really flipped to Texas.
No, Andre Johnson.
Oh yeah. Well, yes, 100%.
Yeah, but I think Andre didn't have the degree.
That's why he didn't.
No. What I'm saying is, this could have been the McNair family and the Houston Texans kind of forcing the hand of TSU to hire the pro that they wanted.
Oh, 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah.
He tried to do his boy solid, and Andre's my guy. I know Andre. He's a really good dude. So I'm not. I
recruited him out of high school, Coach.
No, I'm not saying this, but when I say Texan, I'm not talking the beloved, born and bred Texan. I'm talking about that team that replaced our beloved Houston Oilers. That's the Texans I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah. No, I think Rocky. That's 100%. He was like, and again, we've seen it at FAMU. What did DeSantis say? Hey, let's just give people I need to give some black person a job. Let's give him a job over at FAMU. So, Andre is a solid citizen. He's a Hall of Famer. And like I said, this is not no shot at Andre. Because I think if Andre wants to coach, and he does, I think he'll be a great coach. But I'm using your point, Rocky, that he's like, yeah, that black school over there, we work with them. Let's get one of my guys over there. That would be a good look. It looks like Dion. He's a Hall of Famer. He's well known.
Florida guy.
Come on,
man. I think in these situations, Steve and Mr. Cam, Steve and Coach Cole, us people from the outside don't understand the level of obstruction that goes on internally to keep those schools from being as great as they could be. Because
I know.
No. I'm saying, I think when I'm saying people from the outside like me, they're just thinking it's just about football, or it's just about, or just reading newspaper clippings. Let's be honest. To read Kyle Mosley's article, there is some indication that, I'm not saying if without in proper context, we're thinking that the AD, the interim AD, the coach, somebody in administration dropped the ball, when in all actuality, this was something that was being led by the board, and they dropped the ball because of their involvement in the arrangement that was taking place. You know what I mean? And who's to say they didn't have an interest in allowing the Dynamo to do what they want to with the same? Because I'm sure they've been to more soccer games than they have TSU football games.
And let me tell you something, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think I read an article. Oliver Luck is one of the owners of the Dynamos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think he got a relationship with? Who do you think they have a closer relationship with? Oliver Luck. Absolutely. So this is the thing that we see. And this is my one political statement, and then we can move on. You can't have these HBCUs. These HBCUs are a linchpin for voting, Black knowledge, and Black protests. Every HBCU has a history of protests and support of the Black community. So guess what? Yeah, let's have FAMU in disarray. Let's have Jack State in disarray. Let's have Texas Southern in disarray. Because it's part of the bigger machine. So if you look at Governor Hot Wheels, what better to do than put people in there that totally don't care about Texas Southern?
Well,
Let me say this.
Guess who I booked for next week? Coach Chris Dishman.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just got off the phone with him. So
let me ask you this here, Mr. Campbell, because I saw a really good interview with the head coach of Delaware State today. He was being interviewed by my homeboy and professor at TSU, Dr. Kenyatta Cavill. And what he said was that there's a lot of motion going on at Delaware State. They're getting the indoor facility being built, things of that nature. Let me ask you this. At a school like, can we attribute some of the success to what Deshaun Jackson received is because he has the political backing of his state?
They're a blue state. And the one thing about it, at least with Joe Biden and all those guys that have been senators, and unlike the state of Mississippi or Florida where they give us a penny on a dollar, at least Delaware tried to give them 30 cents on the dollar.
Well, you know, the history of that, I would say it's about time. Because the Delaware across town, which is right across town, is way in front of them. So it's what you would say, Rocky. It's about time.
I understand that, but just think about this. When you think about wasn't the governor at his press conference, the governor of Delaware, or a senator or something at his press conference, when you talk about. I'm saying that if TSU had that kind of support, just think about what kind of corporate support that would mean in the community for in Tallahassee, in Texas, even in Mississippi. Just what you would have access to if you had that kind of political support among the incumbent politicians.
Let me say this. Let me say this because I've been around a long time. And Texas Southern and TSU. Guys, at the end of the day, what I always used to say, Rocky, what you got to do?
You got to win.
You got to win, Coach. And unfortunately, that's what you got to do. You got to win. And when you win, people want to invest in you. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, with Delaware State, I take my hat off to Coach. He done a great job. He's got the formula. He's put great coaches around him, and he just handled the corporate part of it. He just handled that part, and the coaches coach. Same thing with Dion. Dion had all these great coaches around him, and he handled the PR part of it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really bite down into the coaching part of it. He handled the PR. So. But let me say this. He has to be consistent over there at Delaware State. He has to, or it'll be a flash in the pan. Florida A&M, consistent blue bread win. They not just gonna stink for 10 years or 5 years. They just not gonna do it. You know what I mean? Jackson State, they ain't gonna do it. Alabama State, they sit right there in the Capitol. They board is from Alabama State. They not gonna let it out. But Texas Southern, Prairie View, you know what I'm saying? Grambling, they won. You know what I mean? Eddie Robinson. Pine Bluff, if Pine Bluff put together some winning seasons, it'll come together. At the end of the day, man, I promise you got to win some football games, man. That's the difference between Delaware, the University of Delaware, and Delaware State. University of Delaware, which they both was the FCS level, used to win year in and year out, and they got all the money. And Delaware State didn't get any money. So I at the end of the day, man, you got to win. You got to win, and that's why it's so important, Campbell. You appreciate this. Is that you gotta go out and get the right guy to be the head football coach.
Well, Coach,
you go in the terminal of all these losing coaches, they're not gonna put no money into your program.
Well,
because the state don't give money to athletics.
Now, let me push back on that. Fobbs won down there at Grambling, and Bobby Jindal cut Grambling's money to almost, they only were going to function for $5 million. Jackson State has been winning forever, and they still can't get a stadium. Fam, you've been winning forever. We can't get a stadium. So you can win. But those people against you, they don't care. They'll do like old Tater Tot down there in Mississippi. Congratulations, Jackson State. Well done for a national championship. But when Jackson State say, hey, can you give us money to fix the vet or give us money to get a new stadium? Oh, we don't know nothing about that. Congratulations, fam, you won a national championship. You know what they said? Let's have a joint parade with FSU. That was their thank you. That was their thank you, coach. So you can win all you want, to your point. And what you understand is this: we win despite of that, because you can win all they want, but them folks not gonna give you your money. You was at Tennessee State,
but here's what you're saying: those people got stadiums. They all got stadiums. Grambling got a brand new stadium. It ain't is what 20, 30 years old, maybe 20 years old. Let me say I played down in there. Yeah, Florida A&M, they've been remodeling. I don't know why they don't have a brand new stadium. They need more of a field house than a stadium.
Whatever you want to say, Coach. Like
Jackson State moved into the Memorial Stadium. So yeah, it ain't where it should be, but they got stadiums on campus. Prairie View just remodeled theirs because they under the A&M system.
Hey,
I
guys.
Let me say this. I think we both right. I think if you're winning, you do got a chance for people to want to donate money to you.
I think you guys are both right, and I think you said it quite well, Mr. Campbell, that these teams, these coaches, these administrators, these institutions do a great job in spite of what the lack of political support that they get. But I wanted to, before we get out of here tonight, there's two things I wanted to discuss. One is SWAC Media Day. And I must admit, I watched quite a bit of it. I watched it on several different channels. And to your point, one of the most impressive things that I heard being said on SWAC Media Day is something that we're saying that we said today. Now, Coach Jackson said it much better than I ever could. But he simply said that we're not going to worry about what we don't have. We're not going to worry about, they get to eat steak and we eat peanut butter, something like that. But we're gonna line it up, strap it up, and give it all we got. I don't see that as being a bad message, for a group of young men that most likely when they go out into the world, some of the decks they come across will be stacked against them. With that being said, was there a better message on SWAC Media Day than that one in which Tremaine Jackson gave?
No, when you said women, who did you say? Who T-Jack said that? Or
yeah, Tremaine Jackson.
Sean Jackson said it.
No, Tremaine Jackson said it.
Tremaine Jackson said it.
Yeah.
Look, T-Jack is our guy, but I think that's just smart and understanding what the playing field is. What you gonna do? You gonna cry about it? Or you gonna play football? Because Chennis Berry literally said, and I gotta do my Chennis Berry, because man, Chennis Berry was, hey coach, we got to get Chennis on this show. Because when I say that boy was casket sharp, But Rocky, let me tell you what he said. They asked, the guy from the pivot asked him about the 5 stars of recruiting. And Chinderberry said, listen, all we focus on is ABCs. A's and B's in the classroom, and C is championships. Now, we don't have the fancy stuff that South Carolina clubs have, but guess what we got? We got 4 Hall of Famers. So if you come to South Carolina State, you can get to the NFL. See, he said we don't have what Clemson and South Carolina, but they don't produce what we've produced if you come here. So I think that's every coach that understands, because ain't no need of crying about it, because it's not productive. So while I commend TJ, but I literally just heard Chinnisberry say that. I heard Quinn Gray say the same thing. Hey, it is what it is. We're going to play football. The APR is jacked up. Guess what? That don't mean we're not going to try to win games. So I think all of these coaches, and I think, Coach, you know this, Rocky, when you coach HBCU football, you're not coaching for the money. You're coaching, and this is one of the things that you are literally, and this is what they talked about in the MEAC, the guys with Chinnisberry, Deshaun Jackson, things like that. Mickey Joseph even talked about this. We're developing guys again because we got to. So it's the love. They're actually getting to coach again, like Coach Cole them used to do, like Eddie Robinson would do, like W.C. Gordon did. So I think that message that TJ said, I think it's right on point. But I think if you ask any coach that is an HBCU coach, they're going to say the same thing in just a different way.
Now, Coach, did you get a chance to watch much SWAC Media Day? And did you see I was trying to look for those predictive finishes that they had on SWAC Media Day. For some reason, I wasn't able to locate it.
No, I got it. I'll send you the link. Hold on, I got it.
Yeah. Or you can bring it up. If you want to bring it up, that's fine.
All right. Yeah.
Because I thought that was interesting. They had the predictive finishes on both sides. And I wanted to kind of before we go into the Black College football poll, I wanted to kind of look at those as well, and see. I wanted Coach to see did he think that was pretty accurate the way it all. I'm always interested to see how Coach Cole feels about these predicted finishes. Coach Cole, I'll say this, Coach. You've been pretty good at predicting success and failure in the last few years. I think you took Jackson State to win the championship 2 years ago. Even when I wanted Andrew Body, I thought Andrew Body was the favorite. You leaned in and said, Jackson State is going to be tough to beat, and they were
too much, Coach. They were too much,
and they were able to win it. I think we all had FAMU 3 years ago, didn't we? I think that was pretty much. I think Campbell paid us to say all agree that FAMU were going to win it in 23, and then last year. We didn't have no choice. And I think last year what was interesting, we all were very high on Prairie View. We all thought we didn't pick Prairie View to win the championship, but we thought definitely they would have a good showing in the West. And they actually did, and then ended up winning the championship. And we expected Alabama State to be very good last year. And they were. They just wasn't as good as Jackson State. And so you've been pretty good about that, Coach Cole. And I'm trying to filibuster until Campbell gets the all right. Got you.
Oh.
This is the predicted finish that came out of SWAC Media Day. I think this was voted on by the coaches, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Campbell.
I think that, coaching one of the SIADs, man, and ADs.
Yeah. A couple of these things stood out to me as being kind of out of place. But what do you think about it when you just look at it? Let's just go over the East. We got Alabama State first, Jackson State. I think that's understandable. That's one, to me, that's 1A and 1B. And then in third, you coming up. Bethune-Cookman is coming up to almost what they're simply saying is they're going to duplicate what they did last year. FAMU is essentially going to be what they were last year. Alabama A&M is going to be what they were last year, and Mississippi Valley is going to be what they were last year. What do you think about that when you first see it, Coach Cole? You're obviously muted, or because we can't hear you.
Cookman jumping up there. They lost to me. They lost their star wide out. They lost their quarterback. I don't see them, and they outscored a lot of people last year. You know what I mean? On big plays. I don't see that. I think you're downplaying Florida A&M. I know they're not eligible for the playoffs, but they're gonna be tough. They're gonna be tough. They're gonna be tough every year. I think the coach there, is gonna get it done. I know a lot of the coaches on the staff. I know they're gonna put together some good things, and not only they gonna be good on the field, they're gonna be good off the field. So I got Alabama A&M is gonna be tough. I think that those two is definitely gonna be in front of Cookman. You can't say enough about body. I mean, all eyes is on body. When you got a trigger man that can get it done like he can get it done, and talking with the coach and some other folks, they done a great job of recruiting. They're gonna be Alabama State be tough to beat.
Well, let me say this, and then I'll let Campbell get in here. I'm with you. I really expect Bethune-Cookman to go to the bottom, all the way down, and finish off the tenure of Raymond Woody at Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah.
I expect Alabama A&M to be better, to be honest with you, than they were last year. I expect Florida A&M to be better, to be quite honest with you, than they were last year. Are they going to be good enough to challenge Jackson State or Alabama State? We'll just have to see. But certainly, I don't think Bethune-Cookman will be much of a challenge for them in the Florida Classic, and I think they'll get that Mississippi Valley monkey off their back finally this year. But those are the things that I saw that I expect Bethune-Cookman to be down at number 6, and I think Florida A&M to finish no further down than 4th. No, but I fully expect them to be 3rd. Go ahead, Campbell.
Well, I don't have too much of an argument. I did find it fascinating basically because I know that Tyler Jefferson, the Florida FAMU quarterback, is going to be the quarterback at Bethune. Tyler struggled a little bit, but I'm rooting for him down in Bethune-Cookman. Listen, I'm going to say this again. Quarterbacks win in the SWAC. And, there could be some doubt, but Isaiah Knowles has played at a high level on the level he played on the SIAC. He's played a lot of football. I think he's probably, other than Andrew Body, probably got the most starts out of all the quarterbacks coming. Well, maybe Quad Brown because he's been there for 8 years. But overall, that's why I think FAMU, with just coaching, they're going to win 2 games that they lost just automatically. And I think definitely going to be Valley. So that's add 1. And I think they're going to be Bethune-Cookman just by coaching. So that puts them right there at 3rd if you just coach those games. The thing that I was very interested in and what I'm curious about is Texas Southern going down to 4th and Alcorn ahead. Maybe it's because Jalen Tolbert. But Grambling, again, I guess they feel good about their quarterback situation. Hey,
go ahead and go over that side, Steve. Go ahead and go over that side.
So, hey, listen, you can't doubt Prairie View. I think, like I said, again, we broke down and Blue broke it down, talking about Prairie View, what they're bringing back. I think they're bringing the most back. So, again, you can't doubt the coach. And Coach Cole let us know that day 1 and proved that to be true. Can't doubt that. I was on the bandwagon when it came to the championship game. I said, if Cam Peters plays, they're going to win. They did. Grambling, one of the things that I'm just curious about, again, it's not a secret. Bruce Eugene's going to be the OC. This ain't no secret. It's not official. But I'm really excited about that because I've seen Bruce coach, and I think that's going to be very interesting with that offense. The Alcorn Texas Southern thing, that's the thing that I'm struggling with. I could see Alcorn being third. They finished, strong. They played Jack State, to the end last year. And Texas Southern, where did they go, Coach? Where did they go? Because they built through the high school ranks. So those guys, those recruiting classes the last 2 years, those guys should be juniors now. So they should be ready to step up and play. And then Southern, we won't get into it on this show because we don't have time. But, hey, Marshall Falk said he's trying to train guys to go to the next level. We ain't talking about football. He's talking about Power 5. So Southern and Arkansas Pine Bluff, unfortunately, it is what it is. So I don't have a problem with this. Now, the thing I do want to say is, again, Alabama State and Jackson State. I love Lockhart, but I also know Andrew Body's going to be part of the Player of the Year. But the question is can Alabama State win that big game when Jackson State rolls down there? Because that's going to be for the East Championship. So that's what's going to be really interesting. But Alabama State brings a lot of people back on defense. Andrew Body, it looks like he's ready to roll. They got their running back. So, again, I like what this says. Like I said, again, I would make FAMU third, Bethune-Cookman fourth. But here's the thing, too, Coach. Alabama A&M at fifth. What happens are they fifth? Is this – I love Sam Shade. And this is why I hate about this. I think Alabama A&M can play just as well as Bethune-Cookman.
Well, see, what people don't understand is they lost their quarterback early. They lost him early in the top of the season. So as you said nicely earlier, you got a quarterback, you got a chance. And the kid is coming back, and I think they're gonna be better. I really do. I think they're gonna be better. They play solid defense, and if they get some energy from their offense, I think they'll just be that better.
Let me ask you guys this. What have we seen on the field that makes us believe that Grambling is going to essentially leapfrog both Alcorn and Texas Southern?
Well, I hadn't made my predictions over there. I don't want us to, and I talked with you about this earlier, Rocky, is, Tremaine had a great year. He did have a great year, but I don't want to do him like we did T. Graves. It's championship or bust. I think what he's done is fabulous. I'm still a Tremaine Jackson guy. I think they're gonna be up there. They're gonna be up there. And it's gonna be tough beating them. So my question was always, and I talked to you about, is what about these other guys? This guy came in 1 year, T.C. Taylor is now year 3 or going to year 4. And these guys have dominated the league. Eddie Robinson has done a good job, but if we want to talk about pressure, that's pressure. It's time. It's time to get over the hump. You know what I'm saying? Coach Joseph, it's time to get over the hump. Grambling, period, it's time to get over the hump. Right?
To your point, Alonzo Hampton, Chris Dishman, Cedric Thomas, and Mickey Joseph all had a head start on TJ.
Yeah,
right?
It's time to move
up. So what you're saying, essentially, let me just paraphrase what you're saying. Coach Jack got it done last year in his first year.
Yeah.
But let's not transfer the throne to him because those guys get paid too. They got scholarship players and they have a job and they're expecting big things as well in their third year.
Yeah. And we're picking the highest paid coach in the league. He like number 12. If you put the teams together from Southern University, he way down there. But I see Prairie View throwing the hat.
Well, let's talk about that, Coach, because you hadn't said much about it. If you hire a guy who's the highest paid coach, is a 5th place in the West a good return on your money in year 1?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I mean, you know, when you look at that, when a person jumps off a 2-story high building or 3-story high building, the rule is that his ass gonna die. Or if he live, he gonna be so damn hurt that it's gonna take a while. Well, that's what I see when I see these guys being head coaches for the first time, especially at these blue blood programs, your Florida A&Ms, your Gremlins, your Alabama States, that already have everything. Their stadium, they got the fan base, and then now they don't go out and hire guys for the first time. You know what I mean? But if you jump off that cliff, you know, it's going to be tough for success. So that's why when I talk about Southern and I talk about these pro coaches coming in being head coaches for the first time, stop giving them the whole meal up front. You know what I'm saying? Maybe give them some dessert and have some stuff in your contract that you can get there. You know what I'm saying? So
well, let me say this, Coach, because you bring up a very good point. So in the last 3 coaching cycles, we've had championship coach Chennis Berry available, championship coach Sam Shade available, championship coach Tremaine Jackson available. Is it surprising to you that where those guys were hired, to this point, you have 3 Celebration Bowls and 2
and Chennis Berry as well. He was out there too.
No, that's why I said Chennis Berry.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I said Chennis Berry. So what I'm saying is they hired Chennis Berry, Sam Shade, Tremaine Jackson, right?
Yes.
All championship coaches at the D2 level. What I'm simply saying is 3 conference championships and 1 Celebration Bowl championship. Is that a good return on your money for hiring those 3 championship coaches? Now, we know Sam Shade didn't do very much last year, but he was hired with the same pedigree of those other guys.
Right.
Is that pretty good? I'll ask Steve. Steve, is that pretty good return on your investment for just hiring guys who had a championship pedigree at the Division II level?
You talk about Sam Shade's record?
No, I'm saying when you take about the guys who all had championship pedigree at the D2 level, we're talking Sam Shade, Chennis Berry, Tremaine Jackson. When you hire those guys and you end up with 3 conference championships and 1 Celebration Bowl championship over the course of the last 2 years, have the people got their money worth in the aggregate?
Oh, absolutely. I tell you one thing, but when you look at these guys, and Coach knows this, coaching is coaching. That's why Alabama A&M, I think people are doing them a great disservice picking them 5th.
Yeah.
I think that I don't believe now, are they going to be 1, 2, or 3? No, I don't believe that. But I believe,
and that's only because you got 3 of the schools that's been in the top in the last 10 years. Alabama State, Jackson State, they've been up there.
What I was getting to, Coach, those 3 coaches have outperformed pretty much any first-year coach you've hired other than Dion as a head coach, right? When you talk about, because we could put Marshall Falk in that category, right? We could put Mike Vick in that category, right?
Right.
We could put Deshaun Jackson in that category, right?
Right.
We can even go back to Eddie Robinson if you really want to talk about it. When you talk about these first-year NFL guys, you've gotten far more money's worth by hiring a championship coach than these NFL guys. Is that what you're kind of saying, Coach? Is that you just get more from those guys who are professional head coaches with a championship pedigree than you get from a NFL superstar who decides to go into coaching?
That's the bottom line, Coach. That's the putting in the pie. But that west side it's a toss up, man. It's a toss. I mean, Grambling is getting a new coordinator, right before coming in, and offenses is always behind defenses. You know what I'm saying? So with a new coordinator coming in, it's going to be up to that coordinator to change himself. That's going to be tough.
Coach, let me ask you this. You were a coordinator. What was your first job calling plays at the D2 level? At the D1 level. At the D1 level.
I actually started at the NAIA level, and my first was at Tennessee State in the OVC, Ohio Valley Conference, where we averaged 38.1, 39.4.
In your first year?
Yeah, my first year we led the league in passing, and we averaged right about 30, 31. And then the next year was 38, then the year after that was 39.
So what kind of jump is it from calling plays at the high school level, which I don't know if you ever coached at the high school level. You did coach at the NAIA level. So let me ask you this. What kind of jump was it from you going from the NAIA level to the Division I level? And then go back and ask and kind of get to explain to us, what do you think challenges that Bruce Eugene will have going from the high school level as a play caller to the Division I level?
I think, one thing, when I was at the NAI level, we finished number 4 in the nation at Southwestern College in the NAIA level in 1990. And one of the things I was talking to our head coach about, I said, man, you think I could do it at the next level? He said, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because you'll have better athletes. What you do is what you do, and you'll have better athletes, And I think what I've learned is all that is true, but you also got to have a group of guys around you that believe in what you're doing. I think that's very important. You could be and you got to be a good play caller. Some guys are good X's and O's guys, but not a good play caller. So that goes into it too. And again, I can't put emphasis on that everybody in that room got to be on the same page. Everybody got to be on the same page in that room. And everybody got to believe. I believe if you tell 11 players to line up backwards and if all of them follow through, shit, man, you're going to be successful. You're going to be successful. So I think getting good people around you, understanding your personnel is big. Don't go in there. Don't do what your personnel say you can do. That's first and foremost. I won my first championship at Texas Southern running the football, and I love throwing it. But our best athletes, it was at the running back spot. So, what is your philosophy? You got some coordinators, all they want to do is score. But yet they don't know about time management. They don't know about playing together with your defense. Well, if I'm up at 2 scores, the defense giving, man, maybe I need to focus on more running the ball, eating clock, not get out of my hurry offense, and maybe, run the ball a little more. So, all that plays a role in to me in being a good coordinator. So I don't know if Bruce Eugene got that. I know he knows football. From the way he plays and talking to people around him, I know he knows X's and O's. My thing, if I feared anything about Bruce, is he got to sell the guys around him to believe in him.
And you bring up a great point, Coach, because this is what I was thinking, based on what you told me, based on conversations that we've had over the past 3 years. Coach, you can have coaches on that staff. You have probably a running back coach, a quarterback coach, right? Offensive line coach, wide receiver coach. And they end up losing their offensive coordinator. And rather than elevating one of those guys, you come and bring a guy from the outside to be the head of your offense. Can that disrupt chemistry amongst your coaching staff?
Hell yeah. Yes. coaching is an egotistical business. You know what I'm saying? And man, I've been on some staffs, man, that you be like, man, what is the problem? You know what I mean? Hey, let's just follow this guy. Man, he don't know what he's doing. He don't know what he's doing. I look, I remember at Southern University, I tell y'all a story of Southern went under Pete Richardson. We had Mark Orlando. Mark Orlando used coming from running the option, trying to bring the option into the SWAC. I mean the wing T into the SWAC. Of course, we all know Eddie Robinson won the wing T, but he didn't know it like that. I brought my playbook. A guy named Fred Kice, who was the offensive coordinator in the XFL, brought his playbook, and we all got together. And with the defensive coordinator, a guy named Cliff Yoshida, was from Wake Forest or Virginia Tech. He said you can't run that offense at this level. And we, of course, we bought in, and I'll be honest, I really didn't like it because that wasn't me. And he told us, y'all won't gain a yard this week. And guess what, guys? We didn't gain a yard. So we had to go back into the playbook and put all our stuff together of what we going to do. Our defense was ranked number 1 in the country. So what we did was we're going to put the games in the defense's hands. It's a good thing you have Fred Kice, who's the championship OC, me, championship OC, Mark Orlando, I can't say enough. We all gave up our egotistical things to bring in and won, that winning was more important than what we running and what you think we should do. So you got to have men in there. You got to be able to demand the room. You got to know what you're talking about. You got to be able to get on the board and know it all. Or you hire guys around you that trust in you and want to follow you. That room is tough. It's tough.
Go ahead, Steve. You brought something up.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this because I found this interesting, Coach. So this is predicted order finish for the MEAC. And again, I want to say this. I love because they only have 6 coaches. So they did a round table with the pivot guys, and they did 3 coaches. I think, and man, shout out to my boy Trey Oliver, boy, straight representing, man. One of our friends of the show. But Coach, I wanted to ask you something, Coach, I know you know Ted White and what he did at Howard when he played. And Ted is new coach at Howard. But they got Howard behind Norfolk State. Now, mind you, just as a reminder, let me do this. Let me show you where Howard finished last year. And this is what blew my mind, that they thought this was the MEAC standards last year. So right here, as you can see, of course, South Carolina State. Let me make that real big because this is all that matters right here. Right there. There we go. So Norfolk State was 1-11. Morgan State 4-8. Howard 5-7. Norfolk State moves up 1 spot and Howard at the bottom. Coach, what do you think that comes from?
Well, they got a new coach in there.
Yeah, but I understand that. They believe that Howard's going to drop that far off and Norfolk is going to be that much better?
Well, yeah, I think they're looking at it that way. The thing with Howard's thing is about recruiting because their GPAs are so high. You know what I'm saying? And they bringing a guy in, that don't really know the MEAC, the black college road. And so they're not giving him that much.
Wait. Who's bringing in that don't know?
I'm sorry. I'm you know what I'm doing? I'm getting confused with Hampton. Howard, I don't know. You're right about Howard, Coach. I got that confused with
They're bringing in Ted White, and isn't he familiar with the HBCU landscape?
Yeah. Coach is on it. Yeah, and I know what you're saying, Coach.
Yeah. Teddy White, man, Coach, he definitely gonna get it done. He's been there before.
There's no way
that he knows the system. You know what I mean? He knows the system. He knows the trail. I'm like you, Coach. I'm confused. I'm like you. I'm confused that they would put him in number 6.
Yeah, at 6, again, again, Norfolk State only won 1 game, and unless something has tremendously changed, Because I'm gonna tell you something, and I watched that press conference. I want Michael Vick to be successful. I really do. But when you see the 6 coaches, and you say, okay, just watching the coaches, who would you rank them 1 through 6? And just listen to them. There's no way you're gonna say Michael Vick is ahead of anybody else. He does not give that aura. So I don't know where I don't believe that Howard is going to be 6. And I'm sorry, and I think Norfolk State is going to have another problem this year. But that just blew my mind. And I know Ted Coach, we gotta get Ted White on here to see what he says about this.
Yeah.
Because this right here.
No, I got Ted. I already spoke with Teddy White. We just got to connect the time.
Yeah, because this right here, when I looked at this, everybody else, again, of course, people, me and Scotty will text it back and forth. He feels that Delaware should be still number 2. Again, I'm just a Trey Oliver guy, and I just don't think. I think Trey Oliver has so much pride, and first of all, Delaware State beat them on homecoming. And I think Trey Oliver's never going to forget that. And I think out of all the games he's going to circle, that is going to be the game he circles. So Trey, I trust. So I do believe that, look, Central will be number 2. I believe Delaware State is in a good state. They did a lot of great recruiting. But to see, again, Morgan State, who I just don't see moving anything positive. If you want to say Norfolk's going to be better than Morgan, I would, and I like Damon Wilson. I think he's a really good coach. I think they just haven't gotten it done. And he's been there for a long time. But there's no way you're going to tell me that that Howard, and I just think, Coach, because you know what I say about Ted? I don't think people understand how smart he is. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the thing about it. Coach.
And he knows that he's been at Howard. He's coached at Howard before. So he knows where the restroom is. So he can get past all that trying to be familiar. He going straight in there and knowing what he got to do.
Rocky, what do you think about when you see this? I mean, does this shock you or because I know you?
So my thought in this is, of course, I'm a huge Trey Oliver fan as well, right? And I think someone said, I don't want to say lazy journalism, but what I think they're doing is they're just picking Chinnisberry because he's won it the last 2 years. Trey Oliver is the most experienced coach, right? Deshaun Jackson has outperformed any other coach in the conference other than Trey Oliver and Chinnisberry. And Morgan State is better than had performed better than Norfolk last year. Norfolk was hideous last year, and I think they're just saying they can't be as bad as they were last year, so they'll be better than ours.
Morgan won one game, and that was against Norfolk Rocky in the conference.
I don't see Delaware State. I don't see Delaware State having the year they had last year. They had 4 Division II teams on their schedule. They lost their 2 tailbacks. Shit, one tailback went down.
They don't. One of
their tailbacks winning them. They made $1 million.
They're gone.
You know what I'm saying? They're gone.
I'm talking about the best running back in the conference. Probably is at Howard, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and then their quarterback, I didn't really like him. You know what I mean? Because it was a couple games they won real close. I didn't really like their quarterback at Delaware State. They ran a good program, but I don't see them being number 3.
So here's what I hope. I hope Norfolk is better. And I'll say this, Steve, I agree with you. I didn't hear anything at media day that's convinced me that they're going to be any better. What I'm hoping is that they recruited well and the assistant coaches will be better this year in assistance of Mike Vick and with talent and another year of experience, that both the team and the coaches will perform better. Because I'm a Mike Vick fan, guys. I'm a Mike Vick fan.
Let me say this to both of y'all. Norfolk will not win. Michael Vick will not win. He don't care. He has no interest in being the coach there. He's only there because of not because of the money. I don't know his money situation. It's because it was an opportunity. But it wasn't the opportunity he was looking for and wanting. It just fell in his lap, guys. his career is the guy who jumped off the fucking fourth building, and everybody think he's gonna live, but he ain't. He's gonna die. Now, number 7, Michael Vick. Yeah, that's my guy. but Michael Vick with the cap on, no, sir.
So let me ask you this, Coach.
No, sir.
In 3 years, who will have the better record, Teddy White or Michael Vick?
That's an insult to Teddy White, and Teddy White's a friend of mine. That's an insult. He'll have a better record the first year if he wins 3 games.
It was shit if he win 2.
Yeah.
He already up.
God, we love Michael Vick. Michael Vick is, man, highlight all
He's a
that.
sports icon.
Man, yeah. And we want him to be successful, Coach. But Coach, every time we watch and we talk, we like, Norfolk, Michael Vick, man. Can he put a hat on? Can he
Now, Coach,
get out his jeans? Will he talk like
now,
he
Coach,
wanna be there?
I've seen this growth, not so much in college, but I have seen it in the NFL, where a team plays hard, which his team did play hard. 2, his team was very mistake prone last year.
Yeah,
they gave away a lot
they
of
didn't
games.
play smart.
Yeah, they didn't play smart. And I liken them to the Detroit Lions about 4 years ago. That year that they won like 2 games, but they played hard as hell, and they just found a way to lose every game. And then the next year they came back and won about 8 games. My point is, that's what I'm hoping, Mike, because again, you saw some flashes from his team. His team competed with some really good teams down to the wire. But again, I hope there's some growth in him as a coach and his coaching staff. That's what I hope. But I get it.
Wait, I gotta say one thing, Rocky. But the problem with that analogy is the coaching staff of Detroit was excellent.
Yeah.
And the coordinators went on to be head coaches.
Yes.
You're not gonna tell me that Norfolk is loaded like what Coach was talking about 4 or 5 coaches that was down there on Pete Richardson's staff. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have that staff. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't. So I just don't think that feels, matches the same.
Hey guys, I know we're about to wrap up, and I want us to get out of here, but I wanted to give Coach opportunity to look at this new Black college football poll that they're going to have this year each and every week. This is the preseason poll. I put a poll in our chat asking, did they get it right? Did they get the rankings right? I'm gonna be honest with you. On the initial look, I didn't think they had Alabama State up high enough. With that being said, and I really think about what happened last year and what kind of preparation went into this year when you talk about recruiting and coaching and everything, and taking it to, I can't really argue with this ranking. I think the only thing that I would do is take Bethune-Cookman off this damn ranking list. I don't know where they getting that Bethune-Cookman stuff from. I think they'll probably be the worst team in HBCU football, and I don't know why they're on this list. But other than that, I actually agree with the list. What do you think, Steve?
So here's what I find is interesting in the list. And again, remember, this is all the conferences getting together, putting this poll together. That's where this poll is coming from. It's not some podcast or something like that. The conferences got together and said, let's have our own poll. The problem with this, and I find interesting, is that the SWAC has Alabama State winning the East.
What was you on this damn poll?
No, Coach. No, they didn't give me a vote. They didn't give me a vote.
We should have been on here because this is bull.
You think he would have allowed FAMU to finish behind Bethune-Cookman in this preseason poll? You know he wasn't nowhere near this poll.
Yeah, if Coach was coaching, absolutely. 100%.
Not with the great Quinn, what you say, Fordham Gray? You don't think that's what they
senior.
Quinn Fordham Gray Sr. and him with him at the helm, you don't think they're gonna be the 10th best HBCU in the country?
I guess you haven't done, and maybe you have done your deep dive on Bethune-Cookman, but you ain't seeing what we know. Because I'm trying to tell you, if you think Tyler Jefferson is going to be a better quarterback than Isaiah Knowles, then like I say, you guys don't watch FAMU football. So if he could start at FAMU and beat RJ, I don't know how much, again, I'm rooting for Tyler, but I think he's going to have to get his feet under him. I think next year will be his year, not this year.
I don't see South Carolina State unless they got a top-notch quarterback in there, and I seen the one they got bringing in there. I don't see them winning it again. I don't see that. And Chin is my guy. I know they're going to be tough. I don't see them winning it again. Talking with Trey Oliver, he got to have a young guy coming behind Harris at quarterback that's supposed to be pretty good. I got to see him on tape. Jackson State, hey, we going to see. You know what I mean? But Andrew Bunny, it's his time. And if he don't get hurt, that's the only thing about Alabama State. You know what I'm saying? Prairie View gonna be solid. I think they're in a good spot. They could be 1, 2, or 3 coming out.
Coach, why are they bringing in so many quarterbacks, Coach? They got 5 quarterbacks, Coach. All of them have had some playing time at their previous stop. What are they expecting when they show up in fall camp?
You talking about Prairie View?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they got a guy that's back from last year.
Yeah, they got a guy that's back from last year, but they got a JUCO guy that played significant. They've had a guy transfer from another college. And I want to say they got one this summer that they brought in that has significant playing time in his old spot. So my point is that bringing in a quarterback in the summertime, that kind of scares me in that what did they think about the guys they have in the room now? But we'll see. But I believe in Tremaine Jackson. I don't think ranking them in a preseason poll at number 2, I don't think that's far off. Just like I don't think South Carolina being ranked number 1 is far off either. I think 1, 2, and 3 are interchangeable when you talk about preseason ranking. Matter of fact, I'll even go so as to do this: 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can just roll some dice and however it falls, you wouldn't be out of line by picking any of those top 4 schools, number 1, 2, 3, or 4. Somebody has to be 4, and I don't have any problem with Alabama State being number 4, considering they will have something to say about who wins not only the SWAC championship, but I also think they'll have something to say about who wins the Celebration Bowl.
Ain't no question. It's good. It's gonna be interesting, Coach. It's definitely. But I gotta see. It's Alabama State's time now or never. Now, if there's some pressure on somebody, it's pressure on Alabama State.
100%. This is one of those things. Okay, so you know what's interesting about this, Coach, and you can talk about this because I always tell people in the Celebration Bowl era, you've got pre-Deion and post-Deion, right? And it's been 3 teams that had the pressure where they had to win. That was Deion's second team in the Celebration Bowl. They had to win that and lost.
Right.
The FAMU team that played, they had to win it. And this Alabama State team, they have to win it. Basically, because everything is lined up for them, potentially. Again, player of the year, you got everybody coming to your home base. You run the table over there. You should be able to host a SWAC championship potentially. So to me, that level of pressure is what I'm going to be curious to see how that team handles. Because every game, they know it is do or die. And those and since the Deion, again, I'm going Deion era. Though only 2 teams have had to face that. One made it all the way there and failed, and FAMU made it all the way there and finished the task.
Yeah. No, without a doubt. I mean, if it's pressure on any of those, it's got to be Eddie Robinson. It's got to be Mickey Joseph. TC Taylor and Jack. Coach, they done it. They went all the way to the mountaintop. TC Taylor won it all. But we know those 2 coaches just ain't gonna sit on their laurels and not have a team prepared. But when we're talking about pressure, we talked about it last year. Everybody threw everything on my man over there at Southern, and he, it ended up not happening. But we didn't feel like Southern was going to be that good anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's time for some of those guys that's been in place, to make a run, to make a move. If not, we're gonna see a lot of movement next year. We're gonna see a lot of movement.
Coach,
Pine Bluff don't do it, huh?
No, I just say I take issue with I understand things are set up for Coach Eddie Robinson to win it. The pressure part of it is I don't process it because he's far and away exceeded expectations as a coach. He's been in some really tough situations as a coach, and he's been quite functional. And actually, his teams have operated at a high level considering the injuries that they faced at quarterback. In particular, all 4 years he's been the head coach. Again, I just think we should allow Andrew Body and Coach Robinson to play this season out, and with the expectation that it's going to be a great year, but with Jackson State on that side of the West, I don't think you can say it's championship or bust, because I think anytime Jackson State,
absolutely.
Let me ask you this.
No, sir.
Let me ask both of y'all this.
No, Coach, you go ahead. I'm gonna let you go.
Let me ask both of y'all this. Is Jackson State's talent dwindling from the era of
Dion?
Is it dwindling?
No,
last year they had some beasts, and they got beat by Prairie View, and they struggled.
Yeah,
they got beat by Grambling, and they got beat by Prairie View.
Well, you got a couple. Well, look at the two teams.
Okay, and they lost their quarterback.
Yeah, so again, injuries factor into that, right? You will agree on that, right?
Oh, so no, ain't no question.
Yeah, but I'm not saying, a win is a win. So I'm not discounting, because bottom line is Prairie View had to deal what they had to do to beat Jackson State. So I'm not taking it. I don't care who.
Let's make it clear. They beat them convincingly.
No. Okay. All right. I'll let you add that.
Hey, in the first half, they didn't cross the 50-yard line.
Can I say this about Jackson State? I believe last year they were just as good as they have been in running back. They were just as good as they have been in offensive line. They weren't as good at wide receiver, and they certainly weren't as good at secondary and linebacker as they have been. I'm not so sure they had the depth at the defensive line that they had last year, but I don't think the team as a whole was that much of a step down of previous teams, but I don't think they were at the Dion level. I'm going to be honest. And they certainly weren't at the championship year level, in my opinion.
That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna take a close look. And when
they won the East and had the home record to win the game. The game was at Jackson.
I got you. They beat Alabama State.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, Coach, let's get wait. This is not about Jackson. I'm getting on Rocky, because you're not gonna let that pressure slide and say, "Oh, well, listen." Eddie Robinson is one of the best representatives. But listen, and Eddie Robinson, trust me, if he's honest, you're not gonna tell me. I tell you what, you ask them folks at Alabama State if they don't beat Jackson State and they don't beat Prairie View, or better yet, at least beat Jackson State to get to the championship game. What those folks gonna say about that season? You think they would have about that 10-2 last year?
I understand.
We're not saying if Alabama State don't win it, Eddie's going somewhere. He ain't going.
No, that's not. No,
his job is there. No, but he'll definitely be disappointed.
Yeah, no.
I'm sure he was disappointed last year, Coach. They finished 10-2, and he got a reward. He won the opportunity to play Tuskegee on Thanksgiving. My point is that when you put that kind of if you put that kind of pressure on Alabama State, you're saying they're superior than Jackson State. You're saying they're superior than Prairie View. And I don't know that's the case.
Wait, but hold on. That's your okay. So hold on. I'm not arguing it. Who was picked to win the East? Alabama State.
Yes.
Okay, so let's stop right there. It's not like they're number 2. They are picked to win. Wait a minute. Hold on. They are picked to win the East. They have the offensive player of the year. They have a seasoned coach. And this is the same situation that Willie Simmons was in. We had the preseason offensive player of the year. We had a seasoned coach, and it was championship or bust. And Willie knew it, and everybody at FAMU expected.
Y'all had the best team in the conference. Y'all finished just a tick behind.
Okay,
Jackson State in 2 dominant seasons. Willie was 22 and Dion in the SWAC. What are you talking about?
I'm about to show you something, because here you go. So hold on. Coach carry this water for a second. Carry this water as I'm about to show Rocky something. Give me 1 second.
Willie was 22 and Dion. Like Willie had literally beat every team in the SWAC other than Jackson State
So
2 years in a row.
Right, you saying that it's not that much pressure on Alabama State?
No, what I'm saying is, it's not a championship or bust season for them at this point, because I don't think it's solidified that they are the best team in the SWAC.
Let me say, you can take this however you, because people can tear this down, but this is just a barometer. Look at this right here. Alabama State has a league high 9 preseason all-conference selections. 9, along with the offensive player of the year.
Hold on. Let me remove this here. Go ahead. And we're gonna add. I don't know why it's not showing up on. Oh,
there you go. So you can't sit back and tell me that this again is not pressure. You've got 9 all-conference players. Jack State, Bethune, and Alcorn got 6. They got 3 more, along with the offensive player of the year. This usually what happens when people listen. You go look at the past couple of years. Usually the team that had the most all-conference preseason guys usually won the conference. Now, I don't know what happened with Prairie View. Maybe they did or did not. But I'm just saying this. You're not going to tell me when I'm sitting up here telling you this team has talent.
That's not what I'm saying, Mr. Campbell. What I'm saying is, can you definitively say at this point that Alabama State is more talented than Jackson State?
Clearly, the SWAC Media thinks so. They got 9 preseason also.
Go ahead, Coach Cole. Go ahead, Coach Cole.
I think so. I think so. I think they were just as talented with them last year, but it happened. They played down to the last second of the game. So I think talent-wise, they're equal. I think coaching-wise.
We're talking about this year. We're not talking about last year.
Yeah. I think it's Alabama State.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you guys this. In 4 years, other than the Miles game in his second year, has Eddie Robinson lost a game that they should have won?
Well, when FAMU was good, he wasn't going to beat FAMU Jack State, so we can go there. Wait a minute, didn't he lose to Southern a couple of years ago? They should have won that. Well, maybe. Let me see.
Last year, he won them all. The year before that, he lost to Jackson State. And, I think they lose to Bethune-Cookman?
Bethune-Cookman, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe Bethune, that was a game they shouldn't have lost, maybe.
Right.
But I don't think they lost to Bethune-Cookman.
Okay, but that is irrelevant.
What I'm saying is, it ain't like he's fumbled away wins or anything like that.
Rocky, that has nothing. Willie didn't fumble away wins.
Okay.
To your point. But when the year came up for FAMU, Dion's gone, reset. FAMU had all those preseason All-Americans and all SWAC guys. It was championship or bust. This is the exact same thing with Alabama State. You have Andrew Bonney. We all agree is probably the best player in the SWAC. You have Eddie Robinson, great coach. You've got 9 preseason all SWAC guys. You have the schedule set up for you. Jackson State comes. FAMU comes. Southern goes to the Magic City Classic. And then you got Prairie View, Which again, okay, I'll give you this. Let me show you this real quick. Hold on. Let me see if I got this.
So Rod, you know Eddie been there 5 years, right?
This is his fifth year,
season,
yes.
rolling in fifth season. He has the quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, in college football. Let's say that. He went 10-2 last year. He's been getting better every year. Now it's time. You know,
Rocky,
and I know he's loaded over there. You know,
you're not going
they got
to
the best stadium in the house. They got a good fan following. It's to me, if there's a thing since we've been putting this show on, win the championship or bust, it's this year for Alabama State.
Period. Rocky, do you look at this schedule? And this is what I'm saying about how this thing sets up. They've got Jackson State coming in. And then Prairie View, if we believe in what we all agree Prairie View will be, this game against Prairie View could determine who hosts the SWAC championship.
Right.
This is, and it's at home. So I'll give you an example. If they lose to Jackson State, that's going to be a tremendous thing. But if Prairie View comes in there and snatches home field advantage away from them when they beat Jackson State, man, listen, come out of fact. Let me look at this schedule. Who do they play?
Who else besides those two, I guess, Rocky did?
The only game that these guys are not going to be favored is this Troy game looks like.
No, and what I'm saying, Coach, is Jackson State is a formidable opponent.
Yes.
They are on par with
no
Alabama State. That's all I'm saying.
Rocky, how are they on par when Alabama State has the offensive player of the year and 9 all SWAC players?
Well, I would gather that Jackson State isn't far behind them.
I think
what you talk about all state,
what you're saying, Rocky, if I'm not right, I'm not saying that they're not talented. I'm not saying that. I mean, they were talented. They were talented last year, and Prairie View beat them in his first year. I'm just saying that whatever that last play that Alabama State didn't get done, they better get it done this year.
Okay.
Period. And let's not move to go. My point was this season for Alabama State, not that Eddie Robinson is a good coach, not that he cares about it, is championship or bust. It had nothing to do with wherever else anybody's talent. For that team,
right,
that team is championship or bust. And there's no way anybody's gonna tell me that those guys down there in Montgomery don't feel the same way. Because if they lose, and especially if they don't get to the SWAC championship game, then you got Andrew Bonnie and all this great talent, and then close the deal.
Yeah,
come on, man.
They got
hey, Steve. I will say this: after looking at that schedule, this season boiled down to 2 games for them.
Yeah,
I mean, I've never seen a season quite like that where it really coming into the season. I expect them to only play 2 meaningful games, and they happen to be right before the SWAC championship.
And if you look at it, shit, they killed everybody last year except with Jackson State and Prairie View.
The only game they're not going to be favored is that Troy game. They literally should go 11-1 based off of the way the schedule is set up. Now, I'm not saying that Prairie View can't beat them. I'm not saying Jackson State can't beat them, because trust me, Jackson State is very confident of going to Alabama State and whooping them. I think T-Jack, we all know, do you think T-Jack care where that game is played at? Hell no. And especially when that game is going to be for all the marbles, to finally get a SWAC championship game at Prairie View.
Yeah.
So the level for T-Jack is going to be huge. But I'm talking about far as championship or bust, it is all on Alabama State's back. And anything less than that is going to be a disappointment. And you know what? This is nothing wrong with me saying that, because champions step up for championship.
So let me ask you this. This is why I say, how many Alabama State fans have already booked their room for the Celebration Bowl next year? Because we know last year Jackson State fans had did it. They told us they did. Matter of fact, we probably got one of their rooms, Coach. You know.
Hey, they had ordered a sweet box at the Celebration Bowl and lost out on 12 grand.
So how can it be championship or bust when you and Edwin says none? And I'm not. And again, I'm just making a point is that this season has to play out for them to win it. They're not going, their fans are not going in with the same confidence that Jackson State went in with last year.
Rocky, that is not that you. Well, I tell you what, I talked to a lot of Alabama State guys.
Are they booking their rooms?
And listen, not only they booking their room, you understand something? They're like, hey, listen, we on 2 hours away from Atlanta. We coming Wednesday.
Okay, all right.
I tell you what, I'll get some Alabama State people to come on here.
I'm gonna go as far as this too. Coach T.C. Taylor better open his eyes and better pull his staff close together because they sleeping. They sleeping.
Hey, Alabama State fan, please don't conflate this as being hate. There's nothing I want to see more than Alabama State playing Prairie View for the SWAC championship in Prairie View, Texas. There's nothing I want to see more than that. I definitely want to see that.
That's my girl right there. She watches
There's
everything.
nothing I want to see more.
She gonna be. I bet she got her rules.
I'll be rooting for Alabama State in every game this season.
Yo. You. I'm speaking.
Andrew Body is my man. He's my man.
From a coach, Jackson State, they better they talent is fluffy. It ain't Dion talent. I'm not saying TC Taylor took players from him because he did a great job the year after, but they ain't there. They it's falling off a little bit. Just watch this year, and maybe I'm wrong, but it's falling off a bit. It's falling off a bit. So
I'm gonna let you stay on that island right there, Coach, because like I said, I've seen what they're recruiting. Their recruiting has been hot. Matter of fact, they've been 1 or 2 every year since TC been there. They're recruiting. Yeah. And I'm talking about both high school and portal.
Did they outperform PV this year in transfer portal? I know PV won last year in transfer portal. Did they outperform PV in the transfer portal this year?
No, I think PV was one. One day line what you guys won again?
Yeah. They was number
PV
one.
was number 1 again?
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this season. I just, I'm looking forward to Andrew having a big season. But I think, again, when you talk about those 3 teams, Alabama State, Prairie View, and Jackson State, to me, they're 1A, 1B, 1C, man. And anything can happen between those 3 teams.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, y'all got anything before we get out of here, Coach?
Hey,
I'm gonna drop off, and
that's it, man. It's been a great time, and I'm just glad we back on. And next week we'll have Chris Dishman from next week. Guys, continue to follow us. We're trying to get this. We're trying to build enough for we can be able to be invited to the SWAC Media Day, for next year. And we want to bring it into your living rooms. We want to try to do some other good things around our program, but we need you to be hitting those ticks. We need you to pass the word to watch us. Every Tuesday, we definitely going to be on starting at 8 o'clock Central Time. Again, man, if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, you tie a knot and hold on tight, because from Coach's Corner, ain't nobody bad like you.